Hey guys, musicninjamat here, and today we're kind of wishing happy birthday to Superman because Action Comics 1000 came out. They did release a big deluxe version, but a lot of that was just past stories reprinted, which I wasn't that interested in. I haven't actually been reading Action Comics, but obviously this is such a huge issue that I wanted to pick it up. This book is basically made up of loads of little stories, and it's a giant creative team. You know, different artists and different writers working on all these different stories. Each one's kind of got a different theme. So we've got a story showing Superman being celebrated, showing the people of Metropolis coming forth and just thanking him. And it's interesting because we see Superman's reaction of like, I don't like this, and he's almost shy and socially awkward, that he's like, I don't like being in the spotlight. And he's like, well, was that something in space? You know, there's something there to deal with. And in actual fact, Martian Manhunter and the rest of the Justice League, they're dealing with all these problems, and Martian Manhunter keeps kind of putting the whammy on Superman's mind. So every time he thinks he sees something, it goes away, and they're like, Clark, you deserve one day to be celebrated and to just enjoy yourself, and it's nice. We see Superman when he's kind of recounting this story to John and Lois on his birthday, and he's saying he had a fight with Vandal Savage, and he was thrown through time and had to battle through time, a lot like the Return of Bruce Wayne story. But it's really nice because we see Superman in his different iterations, his different costumes. We see scenes from Kingdom Come, from Dark Knight. A lot of these stories are just looking at the history of Superman. A lot of the stories are to do with Superman's faith in humanity and how he kind of inspires humanity as well. So we have a story called The Car, and it looks like the car from Action Comics 1. The guy that owns the car has gone to a mechanic, and he's like, yeah, I hit this guy in red tights. And the mechanic's like, well, your car's a write-off, and, you know, maybe when you're sober we'll talk. Superman comes down and sort of says to this guy, you're a criminal and you do bad things, but you had a lousy upbringing. You had to look after your mother who died when you were 13, you were put into an orphanage, and you pushed back against the world. And he's like, I can't blame you for that. However, think about the kind of person you would have wanted around when you were a kid and just be that person. And then there's this cute little scene where this criminal guy had said how hot it was in the orphanage and how there were no pools around, and we just see him fiddle with a fire extinguisher and all the water comes shooting out. All the orphan kids are there playing outside, and it's just this nice little moment of Superman said, it's in your hands. You have a choice to be a good person or a bad person, what kind of difference you want to make. We get an interesting little look at just him and Luther and their relationship. And Luther kind of comments on he's brought together these objects and he says he's using them for stargazing. And him and Superman just kind of talk and look around at how the Earth, it lives and it dies. And just at the end, it's the fact that Lex is like, yeah, I got the stuff because I was going to kill you. And Superman's like, yeah, I know. And just this weird relationship they have where they can actually relate to each other and understand each other, yet they're still enemies. We see a story as well of Superman just saying goodbye to his parents, just talking to them, talking to their graves. We get a really fun story of Superman is rushing around, solving all these problems, and he's been told he's got a deadline of 5 minutes at the Daily Planet. And it's almost like the Incredibles thing of, I've still got time. And he's rushing around. Bibbo's in the story, which was really fun. But I love it because Clark manages to stop all these crises, get back, hit his deadline. And then Perry goes, well, what are you writing that story for? Did you not see all the stuff Superman did? We're writing about that now. We got a story as well, because I don't know how many of these stories are setups for future threads. But it's a theme park. And it shows Superman's life and all the great things he did, and then Superman's big downfall at the hands of Mix. And I've literally got written down different ways to pronounce his name, because Mixias Spitlick is one, but people also have Mix Ilplick. There's loads of different ways, so I just call him Mix. But it's like Mix is just kind of making this reality in his head of how he stops Superman, and he's like, I can never figure out the ending. Like, I never know how to say how I beat him. And his girlfriend is like, well, maybe you don't want it to end. You know, Superman's actually quite a big part of you. We get what's probably my favourite story in it, which is this woman's at gunpoint, and Superman's actually doing all the maths of can he reach her in time, the speed of the bullet, everything else. And this woman leans into the gun, and it takes the shooter kind of off guard long enough for Superman to save her. And Superman's like, you literally leaned into danger and you should be on the police force. And Lois says, oh, people always say Superman inspires us. She's like, no. She's like, it's humanity that inspires Superman. And finally we get a look at the Bendis Man of Steel run. We get a little preview of that. And essentially we're going to be introduced to a new villain who apparently is the reason that Krypton was destroyed anyway. So this book is jam-packed, the art is great, the writing's great, it just sums up Superman, who he is, his different character interactions, and yeah, I'm actually really happy I picked it up. So anyway, thanks for watching guys, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, as it really helps the channel out. The social media links are in the description down below, and I will see all of you in the next one.